Patrick Surtain, one, is saying, two, you deserve better. The Athletic reporter who covers the Denver Broncos today wrote a piece about could they soon be in tank mode? The player that would undoubtedly produce the biggest return in a trade is Surtain. The all-pro corner established himself one of the best. Surtain had a rough day in Miami like everyone else. There's nothing to change the fact there's 31 other teams that'd love to have him. The Jags received 2 firsts and a 4th when they traded a young all-pro Jalen Ramsey to the Rams in 2019. And you mentioned the $40 million in cap space. Now, I want you to go – I'll go back for those of you watching, John, on this tweet. Patrick Surtain, the first, reply, bring him home. Man, that's something if he came home. Dolphins soon. Get him to Miami. Fins, bring him home. Fins, free PS2. Sure does. He deserves better. Make him a Dolphin. So Dolphins fans are ready to bring him home, John. But could he be a Niner?
Think about the irony. His dad avatar is him playing for the Dolphins, who he's talking about just destroying his son's team.
I know.
And all of the people, I would say that a large percentage of people that follow him are Dolphins people that liked his dad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. 2 1s and a 4 feels a little risky.
How about a 1 and a 2?
Already. I'd probably do a 1 and a 2.
Now the Dolphins might get a better offer than that.
I think the way I would look at it though is, do I need 2 shutdown corners? Now you could argue in a year, Ward, you can move on from, so you get this guy to kind of funnel into that spot, or do I use my resources for the line of scrimmage? Because I would say I try to get guys like this. I was thinking about this. Did you see J.C. Jackson Sunday was a healthy scratch?
Yeah.
Also has a warrant out for like a $600 parking ticket or whatever. Made me think twice. I just got something in the mail that says I owe $250. Has me going through a green light, going like 11 miles over the speed limit. I'm like, what are we doing here? But someone in the law enforcement world told me like it's a secondary company. Throw it away. No one ever finds out. But that's what everyone does, I guess.
This is not legal advice.
Not legal advice
From John Middlekauff.
I think with my resources, I try to lean in the trenches. Like, I know everyone wants 7 sweet corners. I don't know, man. I'm not anti-trading for this player in a vacuum. I just like allocating my resources to right tackle, to another sweet pass rusher. Like, can you ever have enough of those guys? When all else fails. Jalen Hurts at moments has looked terrible, and the Eagles just overwhelm you at the point of attack.
Mm-hmm.
I would lean that way. Like, is there any version of that becomes available? I'll lean an offensive lineman, obviously would be a right tackle, who maybe could eventually be a left tackle. Trent's old. I mean, the 49ers were to win the Super Bowl. Is it out of the realm of possibility? Trent's just like, I retire?
It's not out of the realm. I will say, I was at a press conference this year where he talked, and I was kind of thinking that. And he was talking like, the way he was talking, he was saying things about being on multiple years left in his career, was just the way he was talking. But no. Who knows how this season hasn't played out yet.
He has the talent. No, I'm not saying he was like breaking down. I'm just saying like, I did it.
Yeah, no, 100% he could do that. He also, he got money coming to him, so that's always a factor. But who knows?
Good. Why would he leave? He's,
But you never know, John. You could end up, I played, no one knows, but I played the last 6 games on a broken foot, and I can't do it. Like, who knows? You just never know. So,
well, I would say when Willis and Joe Staley retired, it was a little shocking. Right? It was like, Patrick Willis will retire? And he's like, I can't feel my fucking foot, guys. I can't feel my foot. And Joe Staley's like, my body, man. My body. So that's the thing with these O-linemen and these tough guys, is they don't wear it. Like, a lot of the skill guys tell you about it. You're like, God, this guy's battling, man. The O-lineman, you're like, wait.
Oh, got his breath knocked out.
This guy played with a dislocated neck for the last 3 years? And you're like, yeah, just toughed it out. Tortorol 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, and game day. You're like, Jesus. So I'm leaning the trenches. That's just my philosophical belief. They already have a corner, and they got other corners. Obviously, this guy's an immediate starter. I'm not saying that, but Howie Roseman said this best. Everyone has the same amount of resources. They change as you pay guys, as you make trades, but every team in the league has the same amount of resources. Now, depending on the draft order, one's picks are higher than the others, but every team starts every single year with a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a third-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
the same amount of money. It's just you get to decide who you want to pay and who you don't want to pay. And I think the Eagles have shown they were just so set up with incredible offensive and defensive line. What's so incredible about Kyle is like they've hit on a couple guards, right? Burford and Banks have been really good. And the center is just a random, but it works. But like Banks and Burford eventually, like they keep playing at this level, those guys are $1 million, what, $7-8 million players. I mean, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
So I think you got to be careful with just blowing your wad on the first sexy toy.
So fundamentally, I have come over the years. You have convinced me to agree with you on if I could get an A player on the line or an A corner, give me the A player on the line. That said, when I watch this team that's trying to win a Super Bowl this year, I do think they're a little susceptible in their secondary. I think the Rams first half showed it. Now, the beauty is that their pass rush can get home. But as we've seen repeatedly with the Niners and a very good pass rush, pressure is not the same as a sack. We've seen them get close in big spots before and not quite pull it out. And I think the ability to really cover at two spots on this team this year and even on next year's team is a pretty great luxury. Now, the thing I would add is it's September 26th. You don't know what your needs are going to be on October 15th yet. And the market on Patrick Surtain is if the Dolphins are smart, the Broncos are smart, they'll let that thing heat up a little bit. Now, you never know. Sean Payton could be in General Patton's office right now screaming, I don't like his dad's tweet. Get him the fuck out of here. I want him on the first bird smoking, right? Sean Payton, so far, you would say the self-confidence in the state of Colorado from the head football coaches is at a mile high between Sean Payton and Coach Prime. The difference is Coach Prime gets to bring his own Louis and kick guys to the curb. It doesn't cost him anything. Sean Payton does not. So I don't know what Sean Payton's pissed about right now, but I know he's pissed. And he might be pissed about tweets. Who knows what the hell else he's pissed about. So there could be a little bit, maybe the Broncos don't operate with kind of the way that General Patton would want to operate because maybe Sean's breathing down his neck. But I don't know.
I think General Patton's on borrowed time.
Yeah, so he's doing what Sean wants.
I think he's on borrowed time. I think the key with the 49ers, if you were to do something like that, it's going to bring Ayuk into question. Whether it's Patrick Surtain, whether the
$8 million
Bucs
next year
for
Surtain.
Yeah, but remember, I think what made Jalen unique is he was like, I'm cool with not getting paid. He's like, I'll play out a year and then get a huge contract, which they inevitably did. A lot of guys don't usually subscribe to that mindset.
Yeah.
Right? At the highest level. Now, I would say last year he was a first-team All-Pro. Your defense keep playing like this, he will not be an All-Pro this year, right? Even though he's a good player. So does that drive down the value? Like, does it only take me like a 1 and a 3? Who am I bidding against? I would say a team that would immediately be sniffing around, be like Seattle. They love DBs. If you told me, like, remember the part of the reason they got McCaffrey? Now they would have wanted McCaffrey no matter what, but they really wanted him once the Rams wanted him. I could see Seattle being all over this guy. The Eagles don't need him. Who knows? The Cowboys, they're down a corner.
Yeah. That's a good one. And Miami,
the Eagles 100% would not trade for this guy. Seattle 100% would, and so would Dallas.
Yeah, but Buffalo, the AFC.
But none of those teams, like, to me, that doesn't affect you if you're the Niners.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.